The one entitled Ductia, which I've always thought of as, well, maybe it's a duet dance. And it is two-part polyphonic, contrapuntal, and it manifests the rhythmic modes, notated in 6/8. It is in G Mixolydian. Maybe there seem to be, once again, aspects of C major in this. And very clever music. What you find is that the lower part in the first situation becomes the upper part, a fifth up in the second bars. Take-home message: these people were pretty darn intelligent. They may not have had internet, but they did the best they could. And we'll be hearing this Ductia from the Florilegium Musicum de Paris. And you're hearing two bombards, two early oboes, still used in northern France in the present day on the two main melodic lines. And this is definitely polyphonic because the lower part seems to be certainly as important as the upper part, since the lower part becomes the upper part. The secondary lower part, though, not so much. So maybe we're starting to have that notion of homophony, of a hierarchy of melody and accompaniment. You'll hear these two instruments accompanied by drums, and you get this. Yum ba da 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 dum bum ba dum ba dum ba dum. And so the drum is beating out every measure of 6/8, 1 2 3 4 5 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then 1 2 3 4 5 6 on the third measure. These are 4-bar phrases. We think in 2s and 4s, bilaterally symmetrical creatures that we are. You also heard that back in the Song of the Ass. By the way, I always consider that my theme song for the beginning of the semester. And in both cases, we're in G Mixolydian. In the case of Orientis Partibus, it really shows us very clearly that G Mixolydian in do, re, mi, do, re, te, do. So you've outlined the major third. And then second phrase, so, do, so, la, so, la, la, so, mi. And so now we've outlined the major triad. Do, mi, so. And mi, re, do, mi, so, fa, mi, do, re, te, do. Absolutely. And once again, with the Ductia, they were probably thinking in G Mixolydian. And so the solfege at the beginning would start on so. So, la, te, la, so, fa, fa, re, mi, do, re, mi, fa. But since we're so major minor oriented these days, the whole first section of this, by the way, binary piece of 4-bar phrases. I think it goes 4, 4, 4, 4, and that's the A section, and then 4, 4, 4, 4, and that's the B section. Well, you can hear it, and I think these performers hear it this way too, as re, mi, fa, mi, re, do, do, la, ti, so, la, ti, do, and that so, la, ti, do, so, la, ti, do, da, 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 so, la, ti, do. And also, you like that little bit from the Music Man we did with the tone deaf kids? 76, do, so, la, ti, do. That has that same thing. And we know that so's and do's make the musical world go round. So if you fill in the gap between so up to do, that's going to feel, at least to contemporary listeners, awfully like the tonic at the top of that running passage. In this performance by Florilegium, they wind up doing A, and the big A section, then the big B, and they repeat the big B, and then go back to the big A. So they subvert this wonderful binary structure to do reasonably equally notable ternary construction, A, B, A, and that way they end on what we hear as a do in C major. And there are two verses going through.
Sorry.
No problem. The second time through, we've got. I'm on the bike path at UC Davis by the creek, an offshoot of Puta Creek. It runs suspiciously. But at any rate, where we were. Oh yeah. So the second time through, we've got two viels added, and also a set of medieval bells, which give some sort of skeletal approach to the melody that almost feels like Cantus Firmus. Cantus Firmus, that notion of the fixed song, that solid, fundamental. So beyond that, you can go anywhere. So in many ways, you can hear with the Ductia that outside the church has now bested, or at least achieved the same sort of wonders as inside the church. Beat this landing. It's two-part polyphonic, contrapuntal, and it's actually squared off in these much more predictable two-bar phrases. It's got a good beat, you can dance to it. So this would, in a sense, be a conductus or a clausula from the terms that would have been used inside the church. So notice within the church is the innovation, and then outside the church is the imitation, and maybe codification. Who knows? We're going to see and hear this happen again. So step lively with this one. And here's the Ductia in notation, starting out with fifth harmony, which we expect, and then notice oblique motion as the top part moves and the bottom part doesn't, right, where that is going up. And from there, and if we are in G mixolydian, which I think they thought, we'd have do, so, la, te, and notice contrary motion there. One part goes up, the other part goes down, and we have octaves there for a second. Contrary motion again, going back to perfect fifths. So far we've had nothing but perfect fifths and perfect octaves. Well, here, with a perfect fifth, repeated, contrary motion to unison, contrary motion, a third, unison, another third, major third, oblique motion down to a fourth, contrary motion, do, that's a D that doesn't work, and then contrary motion to the octave. Fantastic. Then that's the first four-bar phrase. Second four-bar phrase, jumping up to perfect fifth there. Ooh, filling in the third. And then contrary motion to a fifth. That's a minor six. And then octave with that low. Contrary motion to the fifth. The third again. Oh, the parts invert there. You see what's going on there? Look at that. So that we had these two guys. Hard to do these things. Yeah, those two guys were the thirds on top, right, of an F-A. And then look at that. They've switched. That's called voice crossing. That happens a lot in medieval and Renaissance music, and hardly at all later, at least in the next couple hundred years. All right, that voice crossing, then they go down to a unison. Wow. And how does that go? That's a strange contrary motion kind of a thing going on. No, it's down here. Yeah. And then that strange contrary motion to here. Unison. Oblique motion a second up. Ooh, third. Then fifth. Then, how radical is that? A seventh. That's a minor seventh. And then sixth with do and the octave. And that gives you an idea. And of course, as you can see, the first, the lower part there, right, do becomes the upper part there, do. Excelente.